I will start. It is 5:01 p.m. here in Melbourne. So I do appreciate, first of all, that you're taking time out of your busy schedule, wherever you might be in the world, to be with us. Today, we've got something quite exciting for you, which is the launch of our new student management system, which is aptly been named 2.0. Because it's a major improvement, and not just improvement, it's a completely different system compared to the previous CRM. But as you notice from the actual name, we've developed it to the point that it's become a student management system. So it does a lot more than a pure CRM. And the advantage is obviously that it continues to be a cool tool that is built around education agencies in a very complex ecosystem, as you know, with B2B, B2C, multiple agents operating across different markets, et cetera, et cetera. So welcome to this session. My name is Luca. I'm Sales Director at Achieva. I come from an international student recruitment background, and I say this with great pride because I've contributed to hopefully the success of this system by bringing in the expertise and the knowledge that I've accrued over a number of years working mostly as a senior recruiter in international and domestic recruitment in Australia across 4 different universities. Enough about me. AIG Education, you know us very well. A lot of you are already working with us. If not, we are about to establish a partnership. We're an education group. We operate as a master agency, but also we have our technology arm. And today I'm going to show you one of the 2 technologies or platforms or solutions that work together. So I'll get started. Please do raise your hand if you have a question either during the my presentation, which will go for about 25 minutes, or at the end of it. And I want to thank you once again, all of you, because I do appreciate that this is a crazy time of the year. So any time you can spare for us is absolutely fantastic. So what we do have here is a single all-in-one solution that gives you total control over the entire pipeline, from lead management. The very first time a student asks you a question or reaches out on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn or wherever that might be, through to enrollment and the payment of commissions as well, which is kind of what we're all here for, right? We are here for the student, but we're also here to be compensated for our hard work across the student life cycle, across the different agent and partner workflows. And what we've done with this new solution, the 2.0 solution, is really we've really enhanced the metrics, the statistics, so as to give you an helicopter view, but also a very detailed view of your entire pipeline, applications, COEs, number of agent partners, leads that are warm and need to be engaged now versus the ones that need to be engaged in 6 months. It gives you a comprehensive overview so that you look at one screen, one system, and you can forget about everything else. We don't want you to spend a lot of your bandwidth trying to understand what different pieces of information are, because every piece of information is in the Achieva Student Management System 2.0. These are some stats from the artificial intelligence. So there's 2 systems that work together as part of a greater ecosystem. One is the interface, the front end, call it whatever you like. It's called artificial intelligence. We have something fantastic in store for you. It will come in a few weeks. At the moment, it operates as an AI assistant that knows everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything about higher education. So it should be your number 1 source of information for anything related to higher education. You can ask questions, and if you are a student, you can actually then register to be able to then talk to a counselor, which will then hopefully will lead to an application, an offer, and acceptance, and so on and so forth. Some stats, because this was a great success from last year. You're looking at the stats through to December 2025, 40,000 users, 2,700 leads, across 10 different countries. And our main focus was Asia, particularly Southeast Asia. We haven't gone outside that yet. What is interesting, I think, about these stats is that about half of the leads were in that critical age where they are starting to think about or are actually moving to a new country to complete their study abroad education, so between 18 and 24. And also, I think it's quite interesting that almost 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes was the time spent by each and every average user on the platform. As you probably have experienced with Claude and ChatGPT, spending 7 or 8 minutes on a platform like that tells you that there's a lot of questions that are being asked and a lot of answers that are given. What changed now? This is a bit of a dramatic title that I chose for this slide, but what we wanted to do really is understand where you are coming from and understand your critical pain points, which is often confusion due to multiple systems, difficulties in tracking metrics, tracking commissions, tracking leads, high counselor turnover as well, and mostly really the need to source information across many different platforms. I'm sure a lot of you have found themselves having to call 3 university reps, sending 5 emails while checking 4 different websites. Let's stop with all that. Everything is in here. For admissions, the critical problem is too many channels and too many different forms. We give you one form. If you or your student fills out that form, it can be uploaded onto the system. There's an AI reader that will automatically fill out all the different fields. So you're good to go. You don't actually have to write absolutely anything. You don't have to lose your mind trying to understand different forms. For the counselors, we understand that you spend the bulk of your time, frustratingly, trying to find the right university for the right student, for the right student profile. We eliminate all that with the artificial intelligence by giving you very clear answers, and particularly with the Unimatch feature. For the managers, well, at any point in time, you're managing 5 counselors, about 100 students in the pipeline, maybe 3 agent partners, 1 master agency, and something else. So we wanted to simplify your life by bringing everything together in one place where you can sit at the top and see everything that happens under you. With marketing, maybe the biggest challenge has always been lead allocation, a lead that came from, I don't know where. We don't know how long it stayed in the pipeline, but at some point that inquiry became an application. We absolutely want to avoid that. Apologies, that's my Mac doing funny things. And for finance, really, the key problem is always not just tracking commissions, because universities pay commissions so far after the enrollment, but also in the specialty projections. So 6 months in advance, 12 months in advance, 18 months in advance, where the money is coming from and for what student. For admissions, you know very well what the problem is. I'll just spell it out for you. There's too many channels applications are coming from and inquiries are coming from. So you spend time trying to figure out exactly whether you use the right application form, whether the student was doing something. We have simplified everything. We give you one form, you fill that out, and then the system pretty much does everything else. We also wanted cleaner records. So once again, the ability to look in the dashboard at all the data, applications, leads, inquiries, students, COEs, all in the one place. So I do invite you, if you are already a partner of ours, to actually use the system, not just for students that you send to us, but that you students that you place either directly through to a university, or if you work with another master agency, for those students too. It's going to simplify and ease your life, which is essentially why we are here. Of course, if you can send the students to us versus someone else, it's always appreciated. But really, it's been built to make your life a lot easier. Same for the counselors. There's a couple of things that are happening in the counselors world. One is the high turnover. You're all very familiar. It was high before COVID. It's even higher now. And the other one is really to find the right piece of information without spending hours trying to source this across different platform solutions, websites, channels. So we created an AI that pretty much gives you all the information in the one place. Also, the Unimatch feature, you put in as many pieces of information as possible about the student. It will spit out a recommendation based on all those information. The other thing is obviously the metrics, especially if a student is being juggled between two different counselors, or a student made an inquiry to a counselor and then another one helped with an application and then another one helped with the offer and the acceptance. You can bring everything in one place. Simple, streamlined, good to go. Managers, the key challenge, this is to track everything, but also keep visibility. As I said earlier, imagine, having 3 offices, 10 counselors, 20 direct agreements and 50 indirect agreements with universities through a master agency. It's messy and it's difficult to keep track of everything. What you have is a centralized dashboard in one place with all the data that you might imagine and a few more pieces of information that you can't even imagine, plus obviously the ability to track commissions. For marketing, I think the key challenge is always lead allocation. Where did the lead come from? At what point did the lead become a student? At what point the student became an application? Very difficult to do if you don't have any system, or even just in Excel or with more basic CRM systems. And you've got the ability to score your leads as well. So you spend your best time and your best resources on the students that have a higher chance of converting to enrollments. For finance, I don't envy my friends in finance, especially the ones that have to claim commissions from universities. It is a tough job. I can think of, at least 25 universities in Australia that have different timelines in terms of paying commissions. It's almost never clear when they will pay or what students they will pay for. So you have to spend so much time tracking everything, sending invoices, fighting with the finance department within, a prestigious Australian university because they send the wrong list of students. So everything is in one place. And chiefly, I want to stress this point, when money is coming in the next 6 to 12 months. One of the most interesting aspects of our job, and maybe one of the most frustrating one, is that you talk to a student today, you won't see money for another 15 months, right? Because there's a very long pipeline. So you want to be able to know that if a student applies today or enrolls or accepts today, you can expect commission at some point in the future. But it matters for you to know whether it's in 4 months, 8 months, or a year, and how much exactly it is. After all, cash is king, and cash flow is absolutely critical. I do apologize for that. I'm accepting it keeps popping up. I'll have a look at that after the webinar, but I guess it's a funny interruption. So with this slide, I just wanted to say we have built a comprehensive all-in-one system that assists you throughout the entire student journey, but also augments the visibility of your senior staff. And at any point in time, you can sit at the top and look at what the situation is thanks to the dashboard. What all that does is greater matching of students with with the right program, career insights, smarter counseling. I would say better counseling as well, because you spend most of your time talking with the students rather than trying to complete an admin task that is just too difficult because it needs to be performed across 3 different platforms. And obviously, what really matters, I'm a salesperson, so obviously commissions, money finally coming in after so much hard work and after working for so long on one single student. I'll show you this in the proper demo, which I'll start in about 2 minutes. We're tracking quite good with time. But what we've built was really a dashboard that is exactly the first screen that you see as you log in. It's multi-dimensional in the sense that it offers every piece of critical information that you need. As you see, leads, students, applications, COEs, lead conversion rate, and it's got the updates on the right-hand side as well. Conversion rates are obviously very, very important for financial reasons. I don't need to tell you that, but you might want to remember that. We've also built the system. This is an interesting slide to address the complexity of the agent education ecosystem that is 20 times more complex than it was 10, 15 years ago. I think B2B agents have always existed, but nowadays I can't really think of, I can certainly think of a world that was a lot simpler in that there were less B2B agents. It was mostly smaller agents working directly with universities, and then there were the big players who had all the contracts. Nowadays, really, it is a complex environment. And so what we try to do, if you are a smaller agency, a boutique agency, or even a large one, but don't have all the agreements with the universities, and you're trying to place students in those universities, and we're helping you out to keep an eye on everything: your master agency, your agent partners, your peers, and also if you are operating as a partial master agency, your sub-agents as well. What we wanted to give you with this system is total visibility. That's kind of the bottom line. And one word that I love about this slide is scalable. So whether you are a boutique agency with, that places 5 students a year, to a large B2B that does a little bit B2C agency that places 300 students a year across either directly or, via a network of 20 or 100 sub-agents, we have a solution that will address any of your needs. And I promise this is the last slide. Basically, what the system does, higher lead conversion. I wish this was an open floor so I could ask, why do you think that's the case? Well, essentially, because you spend time building rapport with the student, counseling the students, telling the student what the right fit is, rather than, wasting hours in admin tasks or trying to find different pieces of information. Smarter decisions, both accompanied by the AI and a clear business overview of money coming in, going out, and students coming in, status of the pipeline, even knowing whether a student will kind of make it for SEM 1 or will have to go to SEM 2 or maybe next year. We've estimated this to be 2 times your student volume, i.e. we save you enough time to cater for twice as many students you're currently catering for or addressing or working with. And so what we've done, I hope this doesn't sound too arrogant, we built an AI counselor that is not in any way replacing you, but it's augmenting your capabilities and freeing up time for you to really spend that time with the student. I would love to take a couple of questions, if there are any, before I actually show you the platform. And this annoying thing keeps popping up, so I'll keep pushing it away. Any questions? So if you want to ask a question, you can just pop your, not your name because we know who you are, just a question in the chat box.